Hey, this is Jamey with Stonemeyer Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite game mechanism in the video game Stardew Valley. We played Stardew Valley in co-op mode this past weekend for about 3 hours. I think we got through a week in the time of the game itself. And one of the reasons we played it is we've heard that it is similar. It has similar aspects to farming games, farming tabletop games like Agricola, Caverna, games like that I know I love. And also, I am working on an open world game, open world sandbox exploration game, and I've heard that this is one of the best sandbox games out there. So I wanted to learn more about it for the game that I'm designing. So in Stardew Valley, it has this nice pixelated look to it. And basically you start off with a cabin and a patch of land, and you do stuff. And I say do stuff in a vague way because there is a lot of different stuff you can do. Although early on, one of the main things you're doing is just kind of clearing your land, chopping up rocks and wood and bushes and things like that. Or you can go to town and talk to people and learn from people. This is the sandboxy element. I have a feeling that we've only really gotten a taste for that, but I love that the game doesn't really hold your hand in any way. It kind of just says, hey, you're here, do what you want. Here are some tools that you can use to do those things. And along the way, we learned fairly quickly on that we had a limit of the number of tools that we could hold. And so we realized we could hold more tools if we upgraded our carrying capacity, I guess, and we found a way to do that. And so we're working on getting that thing, which costs some money. And so we had to figure out, okay, how do we get money? And so we're kind of figuring this out as you go along. The game points us in little directions here and there, but for the most part, we were free to do a lot of different things. And so I spent one day just clearing the land. Had a great time doing that. I was just chopping up rocks and wood and bushes, discovering that some of the rocks gave me coal in addition to just rocks. And so that wasn't something the game told me to do. I just kind of discovered it by doing it. And that felt really good, just to try stuff and see what happened. So that's in a meta sense, that is my favorite mechanism in so far in Stardew Valley. Another thing that I really liked that I think I can apply to tabletop games is you level up, at least from what I've seen in this game so far, you level up and you get better at things by doing them a lot. And so at some point, I think after that day that I chopped up a bunch of stuff, I leveled up, I think in mining. I think I chopped up enough rocks that I leveled up in mining. At the end of the day, or maybe the beginning of the next day, it said, hey, you've done this enough times that you have now leveled up in mining. There wasn't a status bar to show me that I was doing that, and maybe there is and I just missed it. But by doing something over and over again, I got better at it in terms of the game's mechanisms, which makes sense in real life too. If you do something a lot, you're probably going to get better at it. At the same time, if you go and talk to people in the town, there are a bunch of people that are wandering around the town, you can improve your relationships with them if you talk to them a certain number of times. And you can't just follow them around and badger them constantly. They have different things that they want to talk about every day, and there's a certain extent that you can talk to any individual on a certain given day. So the game incentivizes you to go back and forth between your little farm and town, and as you talk to someone, you essentially level up that relationship. You get to know them better, they trust you more, and they want to get to know you more. So I really like that. I like the idea that just by doing something more often, whatever you choose to do, because you have complete freedom to do that, by doing something more often, you get better at it in the game in terms of the game's mechanisms. I mentioned this on Instagram. I got a few other thoughts from other people about what they really love about it. A few people mentioned that they love the little forecast at the beginning of the day that tell you either about the weather or about something that you can do, something they recommend you do, but they don't tell you you must do it. So you're not going to lose the game on any given day or week or month if you don't make parsnips. I think were one of the things that the game was having you make. If you just don't do that, even though it says, hey, you can do that now, or if you do this, you'll get a bonus for it. The game doesn't force you to do it, and I really like that, and it seems like other people like that as well. And a lot of people mentioned that they really liked the relationship building with people. Kind of as I mentioned here, I've only gotten, I think, the tip of the iceberg in terms of talking to people. But it sounds like those relationships can really grow. I think you can have romantic relationships in the game. You can give gifts to people. There's a lot to discover and explore here that we've only seen the tip of the iceberg with. But I like that. I like that the game is introducing things to us in small bites, but we can go in a lot of different directions and do whatever we want on any given day in the game. And also, as a whole, if you haven't played the co-op mode, I really enjoyed it. We were kind of working together. We had different cabins, but we were like, there was one day where Megan went to town and talked to a lot of people, and I spent that day chopping up stuff. And that worked out well. We got a little bit of both. But I think we're also learning that if we want to have like one person tend to the garden and like water the garden, we probably shouldn't have both people do that because we want one person to level up in gardening or watering, whatever the experiences that you can get there, and the other person can level up in something else. Whereas if we're both doing it, then it'll take both of us longer to get to that next level. I'm sure there's a lot more to discuss in this game. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments if you've played it. And if you can think of a tabletop game where you simply mechanically get better at something by doing it more often, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks.